Yeah, really the key to the song was just mixing the lead and the bass elements properly so that they fit, and I'm pretty happy with the result. What is up? This is Xander Rose here, and we're finally getting around to the long-awaited, well, at least one of you have been waiting long enough for it, the breakdown for Give It To Me Like. This came out on Incursion Recordings about halfway through November, so this video is giving you plenty of time to appreciate the song, let's put it that way. But yeah, I have lots of songs slated for release in 2021. One on House of Panda's new label, Speedhouse Movement. Yeah, and just some others that I won't talk about right now, but I'll just kind of announce that that one is coming out. That's coming out in April. So if you want to see more kind of bass house, speed house, G house, all that kind of vibe and breakdowns of those tracks, then definitely hit that subscribe button so that you can see those videos in the future. But yeah, for today's breakdown, I'm actually going to be taking you through the intro edit version of the song, which I play on some live streams. But this is meant to be played as the first song in a set, basically. So I just changed the intro to take out like the percussive intro to make it more of a tension building type of thing. But the rest of the song is basically the same. And we're going to be looking at the mixing stems of it because I did a lot of changes within kind of the mixing stage of this project compared to the production file itself. So you won't be seeing the patches for the synths, but you will be seeing all the arrangement and the different elements themselves. And where I do remember what I was doing with the synth patch, I'll kind of explain that. Because especially with the lead, I achieved a lot of it in the production step. But yeah, so as normal, we'll just kind of start off by hitting on. So you see even here, I even included like additional elements in this production file that weren't in the original. So we'll just start off with the drums per usual. Let me just flick on, make sure that none of these automations are doing anything too important. Okay, cool. So we'll just start off here. We have, as always, just a pretty regular kick, and the only processing that's going on with it is busting it with the sub and a compressor. So I've touched on that on quite a lot of different videos, but just to touch on it again, if we play that and the sub bass here, you see that they're routing to a Maximus, and what that's doing is compressing just the low end band here. So that's compressing that, and then basically I just up the curve and then change the gain using the post here so that it matches whatever the pre-compression gain was, and that just boosts the low end a lot. So we'll listen to it without that. Kind of glues them together. So that's the point of that. Let's see what's going on. It's pretty standard clap stuff. So we have that here, and it's also just going to the bus, which I believe just has a low cut on it. Yeah, so lots more processing going on in the production file, but you can obviously hear a reverb, and I think it's being compressed on a bus with the rest of the perk. Just random perks, lots of reverses. Reverses sound really great in this kind of bass house. So let's listen with all the rest of them on. There's no real other processing going on them within the mixing file, so it's just kind of the pattern there. And a hi-hat comes in. Yeah, it's a pretty basic, just kind of a groovy drum pattern there, and that doesn't really change. That's the house pattern. We'll take a look at the trap pattern that comes in later over here. And that kick is side chaining, I believe. The Reese bass, yeah. So if we turn on the Reese bass, you'll see that this being ducked here. Yeah, so it's just being ducked by that trap kick. That's kind of the interaction there. And I think the clap or some of the other drums are also doing side chaining on things like leads. So just going on there. The vocal is a splice vocal. And the one thing I'd probably improve about this track is doing some more variation and processing on the vocal. But it just sounds like this. So this is the intro edit. So I do like a bunch of reverbing out and EQing, filtering and stuff. But in the main part of the song,
give it to me like, wow. Give it to me like, give it to me like, wow. Give it to me like, I'm turned up.
So in the production file, it has like CLA vocals, a noise suppressor, a vocal rider, reverb, independent of CLA vocals and stuff. And I think some stereo imaging, especially on the end of the phrases to make it really wide. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty normal stuff. Yeah, so that's it for the vocal. So the lead, there's kind of two leads. There's the one from the drop here. And basically what this is I think it's called like Shami Mala inspired or something from a Zen World pack. And what I've done is just layered within the patch, I added a white noise that's hitting at the same time. And it's actually, the gain on it's quite loud. So that's why you can hear it fill out a lot of the, a lot of space basically. Yeah, and then during the break, it's these two plucks layered on top of each other. And so you hear right there, it just goes down an octave. And that's just to add variation, so it's not just the exact same MIDI the entire time. And then here it's just doing kind of taking out some of the notes, doing less of the MIDI overall. But yeah, so up an octave and then down. And so they're kind of hitting the exact same notes, right? Very similar melody that's being played between them. So let's look next at the Reese. And this is the same Reese I use in pretty much every song. So if you want to see the actual patch, I will link to another tutorial where I show off the patch itself. But it's one I made very standard, just Reese bass. That's the entire point of it. And we only really see it in the breaks, including that little trap section. Sub bass is also the same one that I pretty much use in every song, so don't really need to go over that. The main driver bass is this one. Let's turn off the effects. There's some added compression and things like that. Now, it does have a reverb. I remember in the production channel, it's got a reverb before a sausage fattener, which makes the effect of, you hear that kind of reverb swell up right there. So that's kind of the effective. That's what happens when you have compression after a reverb in your chain. So. Basically, it's just automating a distortion on it to make it more aggressive as time goes on. And one key thing I wanted to note was that during the breaks, I actually have it mimicking the MIDI of the lead. So it goes up, but then during the drop, just so that it fits better with the frequency spectrum, what's being occupied at the time, it's actually going down. Which, when Masterio was looking through this track, he actually didn't realize that it was doing that. But so it hits the lower version of that note. That way it's not fighting with the lead and everything has its own place. Yeah, one of the most important things in this style of bass house is really just adding these kind of fills and one-shots. And so a lot of these are just samples that I've gotten from Slice that I've then done a bunch of processing to in Serum Effects and other plugins that I have. Basically a bunch of stuff that I actually learned from Nasty. So that's kind of how I did all of that. And I basically just listened through the 8 bars that I had developed with the full bass on, and then just kind of took out notes in the MIDI where I could imagine fills would go, and then found what I wanted to replace them. One thing I want to note here too is that some of them I didn't bother replacing their sub end with the proper sub. Other ones I did. So you see like this whip one here. So this is kind of like a low end version of it, and I actually have the sub playing its MIDI as well. So let's just go back to listening to these guys. And you could even probably... This is kind of how the song started out. It didn't have this lead, but I think it sounds a lot better with it. Let me just check. Yeah, so then after that, it's just really effects left, which we have a lot of. Let me just do it like this, actually. Just want to make sure I have all the relevant effects turned on. So we've got this main guy, which is a transition cymbal. A bunch of other effects, it looks like. Looks like I just kept them all together. This also has a reverse from the Reese built into it that you could hear. So how I did that is just recording the Reese playing, reversing it, basically putting a volume automation so that it goes from small to loud. And that's how you create that effect. So a bunch of other risers and stuff on top of that. And this is a build from some random sample pack that I've then put auto panning on, which I started doing a lot. Actually, I didn't auto pan it, I manually panned it, but now I use M auto pan a lot more in this sub drop. So yeah, all that. Then the things I added to the project in the mixing file, I just felt like the break was a bit empty, so I added these elements. So this is just kind of like a weird atmosphere thing. And where is it from? It's from Evolution. So it's actually, I believe it's kind of a perk loop or something. Or no, it's an effects loop. But if we take off its effects, sounds like that. Might be a little quiet, but basically just put a bunch of effects in Serum Effects on it. And that kind of messes it up. And then I also added this choir pad. See where that's from. some cymatics. So just kind of a church choir vibe, following the MIDI of the rest of the melody. Basically, it's all doing the same melody. There's not a lot of like different melodies going on in this song. It's all pretty much the same stuff.
Give it to me like.
Yeah, and so that is just this same womp sound that's used throughout. That one. It's kind of the starting shot. I just made a little MIDI pattern out of it. Did some filter automation, and that's how it made that. Yeah. In terms of arrangement too, it's not anything too complicated. Like I said, if I was to redo the track, I'd make the vocal mix up a bit more, but other than that, it's pretty simple. So yeah, really the key to the song was just mixing the lead and the bass elements properly so that they fit, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Yeah, one thing I didn't mention earlier too is that the lead also goes down an octave in the second part of the drop, just like the pluck did in the break. So yeah, so like I said, I have a bunch more bass house music that's being signed for 2021. So I would definitely subscribe if I were you and wanted to see more tutorials and videos about how to produce that stuff. So I'll even put I'll put 2 previews of signed tracks for next year at the end of this video, so you can see you can see what's in store. But yeah, without further ado, happy dancing, and have a good, happy New Year and happy holidays.
Can we get the fucking